Some of the violent and most destructive natural disasters known to men occur in Papua New Guinea. In their path, thousands of people have been killed and destruction to property and infrastructures run into millions of kina. Papua New Guinea is an island that borders the Pacific and Asia. The land area is nearly 179,000 square miles, with a population of about 6 million people. It's a country blessed with breathtaking scenery, majestic mountains that tower nearly 15,000 feet above sea level, and V-shaped valleys, rivers that wind down hundreds of kilometers from the interior, snake through low swamplands and out to sea. The coast and islands are a postcard. But there is a downside to this paradise: the unleashing of powerful forces by Mother Nature. From the highlands to the lowlands and islands, natural disasters have struck and will do so in the future. Papua New Guinea lies along the Pacific Ring of Fire and is also in the path of Southeast Asian monsoon weather. These are extreme natural situations, and with them come volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, earthquakes, landslides, floods, and king tides. At the other end of the wet weather pattern, Papua New Guinea is also vulnerable to drought and frost.
Aji fundan tuna at the same time. Sani bakra mol kita in try mol kita leaf na flower kita something na. All kita something in trial kita na. Aji fundan na bakra more something. No get straight.
In recent years, these natural disasters have struck various parts of the country, resulting in heavy loss of lives in some instances and the destruction of property and infrastructures in others. Ultimately, these disasters affect Papua New Guinea's development. Two extremes of natural disasters in recent times have been the 1994 eruptions of Tavuvu and Vulcan volcanoes in East New Britain. Both destroyed the provincial capital of Rabaul and forced its relocation in Kokopo. Hundreds and possibly thousands of lives were saved because the eruptions were predicted. There were better evacuation plans devised by the National Disaster Office. Both the volcanoes left a destruction bill, though, of 780 million kina and displaced about 50,000 people.
We had an excellent disaster plan there, but the cart got before the horse. Mother Nature decided to do its thing. Instead of, as it's done in most other countries in the world, when volcanoes got in on the act, our volcanoes decided to do it the other way around. Just like that, they went off. So your disaster plan was effectively negated. Everything, all the arrangements for picking up people and doing this and doing that, you know, they just went out the windows.
The other devastating disaster was the Aitape tsunami in 1998, triggered by an earthquake under the ocean off the coast of Sunda. It could not be predicted, and there was no warning. Villages hit by the big waves were Sisano, Malol, and Warupu. Over 2,200 people, mainly children, died. Over 12,000 people were displaced, and the tsunami caused several million kina damage to property.
Time this la something come up. Olman Mary Olino expecting this la something lo come up. Planti blongol e molistablo nambis, planti blongol e molistablo bus, planti blongol e molistablo wara oli tromoinet. Na Olino sablo this la something come up. Time this la something le come up. E mi surprise mol ta solna. Time olila lukim em si kam persona em kramat mol olgata. Na planti blongol ilus pinis.
The other disasters in the last 10 to 15 years have been the 1996 Manam volcanic eruption in Madang, killing 17 people, and recent activity forced the relocation of the island's people to the mainland.
When we had this eruption in '92, it was not as bad as this. Now it's incredible. The place is destroyed. You can look it. You look yourself here. This is Yasa place. The village is down there. We couldn't reach it. Everything is blocked. It looks like that the government intends to send the people back. They evacuated already. They want to send the people back 2 weeks' time or something. But I don't think for the Yasa there is no back coming home at all.
The Ramu floods, also in Madang in 1998, killed 28, and together with floods in East Sepik in the same year, affected a total of 60,000 people.
We play by ready sample something long halibim long all is la week. Na long time we play finish him look long here na lo tamblo long Angoram All right, me at one time minister, Minister of Long Foreign Affairs by Toksabe, long acting administrator, one time secretary, Mr. Nabia, long one kind halibim and by me apply giving me come, all yet all can look out him long, now distribute him.
Papua New Guinea's single biggest landslide was at Kayapit in Morobe in 1992. It killed 14 people and buried the homes of 7,000. And continued movement of the earth along the Finisterre Range also causes regular landslides even today. The problem with that is that floods from heavy rains wash gravel and debris down to the Makam Valley, where riverbeds rise, choking bridge waterways and flooding the Highlands Highway. While this has not killed or affected a lot of people directly, it cuts off the Highlands Highway. The economic implications are serious, since the road is the lifeblood of the Highlands and even Papua New Guinea's economy. A scare on a national scale affecting all the provinces was the 1997 El Nino weather pattern. While no one died as a direct result, people had to be fed in certain areas of the country where normal food gardens that people depended on could not provide. From these expectations, Papua New Guinea as a country is left with the knowledge that it is vulnerable to natural disasters. The country is at high risk of volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, earthquakes, landslides and floods. Now there is a new concern of rising sea levels due to global warming. The national government, through the minister responsible for National Disaster Services, Sir Peter Bata, is concerned.
I should be more concerned about preventing disasters from happening. And if we don't do something about it, it's not a question if it'll happen, it's when it will happen. And we have to be ready for it. And I hope, by bringing this matter forward at the moment, it'll begin a debate. Already the Divine Word University in Madang has taken this issue on, and they're going to issue invitations to various people, international people, to come up and discuss this, and from that I hope that we can formulate a plan.
Given the position Papua New Guinea is placed in, it is important to understand the potential natural disasters and how programs and plans are devised to respond to them so that lives can be saved and property protected. Of the various natural disasters, some are predictable, others are not. The eruptions of the Rabaul volcanoes were anticipated. Disaster officials had time to warn people, devised evacuation and resettlement plans. it was quite the opposite in the Aitape tsunami. The tsunami was not expected. People were not prepared. There were no evacuation plans. The difference here is that there were no deaths in Rabaul as a direct result of the volcanic eruptions, but in Aitape, 2,200 people died from the tsunami. Generally, there are three phases under which casualties and property destruction by disasters can be reduced. These are steps which are taken before, during, and after natural disasters. Before disasters strike, there are three steps: prevention, mitigation, and preparedness. Under prevention, it is best to avoid disasters, whether they be natural or human-caused. Under mitigation, efforts should be made to reduce loss of lives, loss of livelihood, and property by or through natural disasters. And under preparedness, ensure minimum possible loss of lives and property through efficient response and rehabilitation. During a natural disaster, there is only one thing to do, and that is response. Action to save lives, reduce economic loss, and alleviate suffering. And after a natural disaster, the considerations are rehabilitation and reconstruction. Under rehabilitation, moves are made to restore lives back to normal, restore essential services, repair physical, social, and economic damage. And under reconstruction, there should be medium to long-term efforts to return back to normal or better. Disaster officials and governments in countries where disasters occur would normally be at the forefront, but their roles are more facilitative. The hands-on are normally NGOs, missions, and those involved in humanity work. NGOs play a crucial role here since they are more closer to the people. They are normally the first to assist. Before, during, and after a disaster, NGOs provide training in various fields of survival, such as basic health care, trauma relief, rehabilitation, economic recovery, and to be observant in areas prone to earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis. Communities in disaster-prone areas are encouraged to seek information from NGOs on how they can best prepare for disasters. And upon request from the communities, NGOs can work with them by facilitating trainings and source other necessary resources to empower the communities to devise disaster preparedness plans. In Papua New Guinea, this has been true in nearly all recent natural disasters. This, no doubt, will be the trend in the future, as there will always be natural disasters.